Hi, my name is Sydney Stevens, and I recently graduated in May of 2020 with my degree in psychology. I studied abroad at Lancaster University in Lancaster, England during my spring 2019 semester. I loved exchange. It was one of the best experiences in my college career, and I'm so thankful that I was able to do it. Lancaster is in such a prime location. It's beautiful, it's super close to a bunch of cities in the UK, it's close to Scotland and Wales and stuff like that, and it's about an hour and a half north of Manchester, so it was super convenient to get to Manchester Airport and just hop on a flight and go to mainland Europe or Ireland or something like that. So classes at Lancaster were pretty different from American classes. So in America, we have the traditional Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday class schedule. And in Lancaster, they don't really have a set traditional schedule. It's just you sign up for classes and they just are scheduled randomly, it seems like. So for each class, you have 1 or 2 lectures a week, and it could be on Tuesday and Wednesday or Monday and Friday. It's very random, very strange. And so you have 1 or 2 of those, and then you meet for seminars, which is where you meet in a group of 10 students with a tutor, and you just talk about a different topic in the class, and that's just kind of to help propel you along in the coursework. When you get there, you register for your classes in a gym looking thing, and you go around and just get your form signed for the classes that you want. And so with their setup, they aren't in the fall, spring, summer schedule. They're on the Michaelmas term, which is October to December, and then the Lent term, which is January to April, and then you go on Easter break, and then you come back for summer term. And so a lot of classes for full-time students are year-long courses where they take them from Michaelmas all the way through summer, but for exchange, you're able to take ones that are either only taught for 1 semester or are taught in a way where you can take half of the course. So I took philosophy, and that's a full year course, but I was able to take it for just the Lent and summer term. And so with that, it is kind of stressful because you miss out on the first half of the information that they learn, but the classes that they do that for are ones where you can get by without having that information. It's not like chemistry or something like that where you need that founding information. And then I think biggest difference was their exam and testing setup. So they don't have 4 exams or 3 exams like we do, where it's every couple weeks you got another test. You'll typically have 1 or 2 assignments for each class where you write an essay or have a project, and that's your assignment during the term. And then at the end of the summer term, you take your exams for all your courses. So you'll have your Lent term, you'll go on Easter break, and then you might have more classes during the summer term, but a lot of times that's just time for you to study and prepare for the exams. And so you have these exams, you go in this big lecture hall, take them, and it's very different from how we take them. They're not multiple choice exams. I had 1 exam where some of it was multiple choice, but for the most part, it's all essay questions where you just write 2 or 3 essays for the class, and that's what you're being graded on. And so that was very different to prepare for, but they do have past exams you can refer to where you look at the questions they asked and how they phrase things, the different topics that they focused on, and you can kind of prepare for your strong suits. So for philosophy, they asked 6 questions, and for full-time students that took it for a full year, they had to answer 3 essay questions. And for exchange students that were only there for Lent and summer, we answered 2 questions. And so I looked at past exams and just looked at the questions that they asked and saw if there were any common themes, any common topics that they touched on, and then I studied for the topics that I understood the most, and I just didn't even study for the ones that I was I don't get that, or I am not going to answer a question on that. So that was interesting because it wasn't a comprehensive exam. It was more just tailoring to what your strong suits are. There were a lot of things that surprised me whenever I was at Lancaster. I think one of the biggest things that surprised me was that there were a bunch of bars and pubs on campus. So the campus is divided into different colleges. You're assigned one, and that's what your flats are separated into, and it's separated like that. And so each college has its own bar or pub. And so there are, I think, 8 different bars, and they're just on campus within walking distance of each other. And it was such a wild thing whenever I first got there, because we just don't have that in America. And it was really nice. My friends and I would go there to the different pubs and just kind of hang out, play darts, eat food, catch up, and it was super relaxing. So I really miss a lot of things about Lancaster. I think, the scenery was beautiful. The grass was super green, which sounds weird until you get there, and then you're like, oh my gosh, the grass is greener on the other side. But the grass was green. There were walking trails around campus. It was nice weather. It's kind of a coastal town, so it's not super cold, even though you would think it would be for being in North England. The location was also super convenient. There's a train station right in town for Lancaster, and so you could hop on a train for a really cheap price and go to Manchester to get to the airport, or go to like Glasgow or Edinburgh, anything like that. You can get a student discount where you get like a train pass, and that'll get you a significant discount on a lot of train tickets. And so that was really nice. We got to London for about, I think, like £60. It was also just convenient in terms of being close to Europe and just having that accessibility readily available at all times. Out of the things about England, the thing I miss most about exchange is my friends. The people that I met there were absolutely incredible. You become friends with a lot of people on exchange that are other exchange students. So there's like 30 exchange students from all over Europe, America, Australia, things like that. And you come together and you just kind of are thrown into this wild experience where you're in a foreign country for 6 months. And that's a really easy way to bond, because you can talk about, your different countries, where, people love to hear about America. They love to ask different things. And then you can ask, what's Australia like? What do y'all like to do? You get to hear different accents, different languages, and you really just get to bond. And I truly miss my friends over there. I made some of my best friends while I was on exchange. Some of them were from England that were full-time students at Lancaster. Some of them were exchange students, and you just have this bond that you're not going to have with anyone else, where, you both were thrown into this experience. And so I think that's what I'm most grateful for, is just the people that I met and the things that I learned from them, the experiences that I had with them, and just everything around that. I'm still able to keep up with a lot of them on Facebook and Snapchat and all the social media, but I really did love the people. My biggest piece of advice for anyone going on exchange is to just push yourself out of your comfort zone in terms of making friends and traveling and embracing the exchange life. I think that it can be easy to revert into your shell and be shy and be comfortable where you're at, but I think one of the best and most important things to keep in mind is that everyone that's an exchange student is also homesick and scared and just kind of like, what's going on here? And so just keep that in mind and talk to them, push yourself to start those conversations and be outgoing. It might seem awkward at first, but I'm sure that the other person is going to be thankful that someone started the conversation. It wasn't them. So don't always wait for people to come to you. Try to start conversations, initiate things, and be outgoing. Make as many friends as you can, make as many connections, and eventually, you'll get to your close friends. Go to all the orientations, all the different, activities outside of the mandatory orientations. If they go to a pub, try to go there for, an hour to bond with everyone. And then outside of that, I think it's also important to push yourself for traveling. So you're already in Europe, you're already in England, embrace that. The tickets to get to mainland Europe are really reasonable. They're cheaper than it would be going from Texas. So just take advantage of that and travel as much as you can. I know that money can be stressful. I worried about that a lot whenever I was on exchange. I thought I was gonna run out or that I was spending too much, and there wasn't a single trip that I went on that I look back on and think, man, I shouldn't have gone on that trip. I should have just saved that money. I am so thankful for every trip I took, and I would have loved to go on more, if money was infinite. But I think that you're never going to regret spending money on a flight to go to a different country and see what that's like. Plus, there are a bunch of different ways to travel on a budget. There are hostels, there are Airbnbs. You don't have to stay in a 5-star hotel. You don't have to go to like a 5-star meal. There are very economical ways to travel. So take advantage of that and don't be afraid to try new things. I love an exchange. If I could go back, I would in a heartbeat. So embrace it, love it. And I hope this information helped, and gig 'em.